followers, aren't we? On a wall somewhere.
We almost brought the mask. The mask was in
deep
storage. Oh,
it's in a display on the floor somewhere.
Awesome.
The Joe Carroll mask.
So what can you tease about what's coming up next season?
What do you want to know?
Everything. Spoil the entire season. Just
So I know
kidding.
there was talking on the panel about a reboot. Can you explain in a little bit more detail, maybe?
Well, we can start
Yeah.
with Ryan, and the best way to do it is to sort of, because we are going to jump ahead a year, just like we did last year. But last year there was the theme of masks, where we see Ryan, he's jogging, he's healthy, he's not drinking, and then you think everything's great. He's changed, he's evolved, and then he opens a secret room and you realize he's not great. It's a facade. This year we're jumping ahead a year, but he actually is great. He's in a great place, and he has evolved, and that's where we fundamentally start as a reboot. It's going to allow us to kind of start from a new place with our protagonist, and I think if we can accomplish that, the show inherently has a new beginning.
Okay. Will that happiness last at all? I mean, we're not used to seeing him happy.
Well, we're going to root for him because we're really going to like this new woman. We're going to really like this, situation he has, and he's happy. I think we might even get to see. Here's a spoiler. We might get to see him dance.
Oh,
maybe.
You just said here's a spoiler, and we might get to see it.
That's true. I cheated. So then it will be a matter of whether or not he can maintain that. And in terms of the reboot, we're going to reboot what happens with the following and what that means this year and who might be behind it and what that looks like for them. Because it was very specific to Joe Carroll for seasons 1 and 2, right? The theories he had, or the kind of the philosophies that backed up his actions, like Edgar Allan Poe or his diatribe against organized religion. But so there will be something new this year, and Ryan will have to figure out what that is, and that will turn everything upside down. But it is literally a reboot of what the following means.
So does that mean the people that Ryan's trying to figure out are not necessarily going to be Joe Carroll? It could be other people.
But Joe Carroll is going to figure into the season prominently, but maybe not in the way that you expected.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say about where Max is headed? Because she always seemed to have such a level head, and she was, almost like the anchor for Ryan. And, if maybe she'll continue on with that and blossom even further, or with this show, you never know.
I mean, we're going to have her make excruciating choices this season, because in order to maintain that moral center, everybody around you needs to maintain that moral center. So if people that she loves and people she cares about maybe can't stick that course, she would, in theory, have to make some really, really tough decisions that would affect her personal life. So
it's a good way of saying nothing.
I'm thinking of exactly what I mean right behind it without saying the thing that happens. But she's gonna have a really interesting character arc this year, and it's gonna be related to Mike, and it's gonna be related to the cases, and again, always the following and who it is and what it means affecting their personal lives in unexpected ways.
I think a fun part of our show has always been how you end up rooting for the bad guys, or you're rooting for someone. And I really found myself rooting for Max and Mike to get together last year. And when you get to the kiss, it feels earned. And now this season, we're going to pay that off, and we're going to see where they are a year later. And that's going to be satisfying. And then it's the challenges moving on from there, because Weston does have his father's killer out there, and he still has that bloodlust. Can he maintain that moral center? Can he be the good guy?
Weston's a great character on the show, and has had some great growth over the past few seasons. What do we expect to see from him this time? Are you guys going to torture him again?
You think we tortured him?
I don't lie, right?
Define
You
torture.
broke him pretty well.
He's gonna have a journey. I don't want to spoil it, but he's gonna be a little bit vulnerable, because look, when anybody wants something that they shouldn't have, that would make them vulnerable to people who might know what they want.
And what will he do to get what he wants to be. Maybe, I don't know that we're going to torture him. He's been on that journey, but now it's the fallout from that.
I was reading just I was reading. I had influence that it couldn't be Happy, but I hear it worked down really well. You're saying something about alternative endings. There'd been an alternative ending shot. What was the thinking behind doing something like that? Is it so you have options, or is it just so there is a level of suspense?
For us, it was we got to a point where it was really hard to maintain any level of secrecy. You know, we shoot now and we air in January, so we didn't tell the cast, we didn't tell the crew. They didn't know what was going to air. So we shot two very different endings that would have huge implications on season 3, and that's what we showed. We showed the other ending, and it was just to kind of prevent anyone from going, we know how it ends.
Right.
That's the only reason we did it.
Wow.
Yeah, we never intended on.
Would they not say it could end either way?
Well, they would, but at least there's a choice, there's a guessing game.
And did you always know exactly which one you were going to use?
Yes.
Okay.
What's that like, having to incorporate an additional ending into your process?
It's easy because we shot at the same time. It's like extra takes basically. So I knew what we needed to do, and it wasn't like we had to go to a whole other location. Or I think the studio let us do it because it was fairly easy for us to incorporate it.